That right there is my 3 horsepower Cyclone dust collector from Grizzly. Model number G0862. We've had this unit for what, a year and a half? Something like that now, so a good while. So I thought this would be a good time to go over what it's been like. Sometimes you have reviews and you just got a product and you're so excited, but you don't know what it's like because you haven't used it very long. I think it's more interesting when some time has passed, so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go over this dust collector right here. So Grizzly provided me with this unit, and the code that I got then still works for 10% off this unit. If you're interested, it's Darbin10 at checkout. Just something to keep in mind. Now, they're not sponsoring this video or anything, so this is just like my opinions, what it's been like. You can see it's standing in the corner here. It is pretty tall. It's what, 82 inches, something like that. It is a big, heavy machine, which is also what makes it so good. I mean, it has this kind of cyclone system here where you have dust coming in through the pipe here, going into this motor. Motor is on top. There's a vortex. The dust is spinning around, and then it's sucking it on towards the back is where the finer, lighter particle goes. Everything heavier, bigger dust particles falls down into this 55-gallon drum. So in the back there is a different bag for the finer stuff, and then here you have this one for the bigger stuff. What's nice about that is you empty this more frequently. So I would say maybe I emptied this one 5 times to 1 time in the back, something like that. Let me move it out a bit so you guys can get a better view. But let's back up a second to when this first arrived, which feels like quite a while ago now, and the shop looked quite different back then. Everything is so oversized. This is like super heavy duty too. One of these is the HEPA filter. I put tape on them because they look pretty identical. I don't know if there's any marking that differentiates the two. 8-inch. That's a lot of air. Every single part is a really good size. So much airflow. It feels very substantial. So yeah, I'm gonna need help with that. Installation is pretty straightforward, and you can be just one person for the majority, except when it comes to installing the motor on top here. You definitely need 2 people for that. That's really heavy. So this is where I'm at this point. Got this one up off camera. It's really heavy. You definitely need another person. I'm not exactly sure where it's gonna end up, but for right now I'm gonna keep it here because I have my 220 plug right there and I don't want to use an extension cord for this. Everything is looking really nice. The finish is super crisp, no nicks or anything. It's quite beautiful. The impeller looks really nice and well made in here. The instructions are a little bit vague, like what's left and what's right when you're putting it together, and like when they're referring to left and right, they're talking about from here, from the front right here, and not like from the back. And one thing that I really wanted to make sure that I got right was which direction to put these support bars in. And the handle right here needs to be on the outside, on each side. And you don't want to get that wrong and then put on this like big heavy unit and then having to take it off again. So I wanted to make sure I got that right. So when I move it around, it's not tippy at all. It feels very stable, very sturdy, everything. So that's where I am at right now. Next I'm going to work on the Cyclone aspect and the bin and get that put together. So got the handle on here, and this goes up and down, and this part here attaches to the lid, so it will open it up. So next is securing this lid here, and it's kind of off center, this thing. Okay, that's nice. Okay. I'm just trying to figure out the right screws here. Just attach both drum latches using the screws. So almost ready for a test run here. Got everything in place, I think. Okay, let's roll this monstrosity. I'm gonna plug it in. Now, when we first got this unit, this is 240 volt, and we had a 20 amp circuit breaker, and the circuit breaker kept tripping. First I thought maybe there's something wrong or whatever, but then we upped it to 30 amp, and that solved the problem. And also thicker wire, so 10 gauge wires for this unit. So a little tip, if you have this unit, make sure you have higher amp circuit breaker to avoid any issues. At least that solved it for me. I mean, this is a big unit. It's not small. I would say this is designed for like a small industrial shop or a large like home workshop, because you can actually use it for several units at the same time. So if you have a table saw hooked up and you have the bandsaw hooked up and you're using them simultaneously, this machine can handle it. I mean, it's really, really powerful. We can look around. So this right here is an upgraded HEPA filter to bring the dust down, so it falls down to keep it clean. And during this time that I've had, there has been no indication whatsoever that it needed to be replaced or anything. I think that if you do like a moderate amount of work like I do here, I'm not sure you would ever need to replace this. I really like that it's freestanding, so you can move it around, unlike units that are on the wall. It has a on button here, emergency stop, and it also comes with this remote. Now, the 55-gallon drum here is a nice big area for the dust to come in, which I think is both good and bad, because on the one hand it's nice that it has a large capacity, but you also have to watch out, because if you let it get too full, it's too heavy to lift out and to empty. So it's really nice, but also you have to keep on top of it so it doesn't get too heavy. Okay, so I do like this construction of this. So what you do is you bring this down. Okay, so you can see here that there is a pipe connected to here, so you take the plastic off to empty the bag. So this is to kind of create suction so that the bag actually kind of stays down, so it doesn't like flow up. So this limits how far this will roll out. You can't like roll this, this is as far as it goes. You bring it back in again, make sure it doesn't get kinked. Line up here. So let me show how I've had this set up. So it goes in the corner here. So I have this 4-inch pipe connected in ceiling tracks. So I put this in there, and it goes in the ceiling here and then over to the table saw. So that's where it's constantly hooked up. There's also one coming out here so that I can hook it up for the jointer or the bandsaw. Another thing that I do sometimes is I have this kind of cord right here. So if I want to just leave this like hooked up here to not disturb it, all I do is hook this one up here. I can close this. That's already closed. And then I have this guy. If I want to clean up on the floor or whatever, this is what I use. I can also use this for the bandsaw. So like makes it more flexible. Turn it on. This works extremely well. The suction is really high. I've used a number of different dust collectors over the years, and nothing comes close to this. This is extremely powerful. So it's been really great. Now I have a variety of Grizzly tools, and I like them all. I mean, they're all really well built. I haven't had any issues with either of them or any of them. The finish is really great. The motors are good. Yeah, I've had a really good experience with it. I don't have a loud meter. I mean, it's loud, but any dust collector is loud. Tools are loud. And it is large. So you do need that extra space. You need that 30 amp circuit, you need 240 volt. But if you have the space and you need something really powerful and you actually want to be able to possibly use it for multiple like sources at the same time. If you have multiple people working in your shop and you want to be able to use the bandsaw and the jointer at the same time, or the table saw or something like that, this is a really good option. Those were some thoughts on the unit. The fit and finish is great. I mean, obviously it looks a little dirty because it's dusty, because it gets dusty because it's a dust collector, so there you go. But the wheels, the way the drum works, I really like. And it's been really useful to be able to have this set up here with the piping. So it's always set up for the table saw, but then to be able to, you know, be a little bit more flexible depending on what other tools you want to hook it up to as well. Or I can also hook it up right there. So all in all, really good. Just make sure that you have 2 people in order to lift up the drum, the motor for assembly. Again, make sure to check out the code Darbin10 if you're interested in buying this, so that you can get 10% off, because that makes a pretty big difference. I would say that's about it. Let me know if there was something that I forgot to cover in the comments below. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.